Here we're told that car X followed car Y across a certain bridge that's half-mile long. And the question is, how many seconds did it take car X to travel across the bridge? So really we need to know some information about the speed of car X. So statement 1, I'm going to draw it out graphically, and what they tell us is that car X drove onto the bridge exactly 3 seconds after car Y drove onto the bridge. So this is the half-mile bridge. That's it. And if Y is here, then we're told that car X drove onto the bridge exactly 3 seconds after. So in 3 seconds, Y would be somewhere here. And at this point, X has just gotten onto the bridge. And they also tell us that then car X drove off the bridge exactly 2 seconds after car Y drove off the bridge. So let's say Y gets to this point. So this was 3 seconds, and let's say it took Y another t seconds. So Y is here, and at this time X is moved to some other point that's t seconds out, and we're told that car X drove off exactly 2 seconds after Y drove off the bridge. So in another 2 seconds, X would be here and Y would be further out 2 seconds. So the key thing here is if you can, I mean, you don't have to actually do any of this. If you can recognize that it took car Y, t plus 3 seconds to cross the bridge, and it took X, t plus 2 seconds. So if you can see that it took Y 1 more second longer than X. I mean, if you can make that conclusion without doing this work, then that's great. But I think it's a little harder to do that. But if you do, the key thing is the relative relationship between the time. But we don't really know what t is. We can have different numbers, and the answer would be a different value. So 1 alone is insufficient. If you look at 2, it says car Y traveled across the bridge at a constant speed of 30 miles per hour. And we can find the time it takes Y to cross the bridge. This distance is half-mile, and if I divide it by the rate, this gives me a 60th of an hour. An hour is 3,600 seconds. I'm just computing it in seconds. So that's 60 seconds. So it took this t plus 3 is 60. That's the time it took Y to cross the bridge, which means I know what t is. T is 57. And then the time it took X to cross the bridge would be 59 seconds. And that's what the question is asking for. But this is only if we have statement 1 here. As you can see, I'm kind of falling for that here. 2 alone is, I didn't make that point. 2 alone is insufficient because all that does is it gives me the rate of Y. It tells me how much time it spent to cross the bridge, but it doesn't tell me anything about X. So 2 alone is insufficient. But when we combine 1 and 2, we have a unique value for t. We can find the time car X spent to cross the bridge. So 1 and 2 combined are sufficient, and the answer is C.